Welcome to the Annual Noise Experience, podcast Endurance Noise, Random Musings. It's Wednesday, hump day, 7 o'clock-ish here in Bakersfield, California, with beautiful gray, smoky skies. Just finishing up some miles for the day. Had a pretty good run camp, Bakersfield Distance Project run camp. If you're in Bakersfield, we're there Monday through Thursday, 6 o'clock. Group of us running and training together. I started the Bakersfield Distance Project 2009. I think it was one of the original run camps in the country, and resurrecting it after a year or two off hiatus. Really enjoy the group training and really enjoy seeing the people. And today we did a 30-minute kind of tempo run. I did it where I walked a minute, ran 2, and actually it was about a minute faster than I was the other day. I think that's probably because it's only 90-ish. And the AQI is probably yellow instead of red. But, you know, you can hear my voice, the smoke. As I said in another podcast, decided not to do the 100-miler this weekend. And a lot of it's because, I'm coming back from the injury and the congestive heart failure. And doing a 100-mile race would be quite stressful to begin with. But with the air quality supposed to be in red, it definitely wouldn't be smart. And I kind of thought to myself, you wouldn't run a half marathon or marathon in these conditions. So why are you going to be out there for 30 to 32 hours pushing it, especially with a noon start? So I'm here I call this Nightfall on Elm Street, not Nightmare on Elm Street. I like this little loop. It's relatively quiet. I know you've heard cars going by, but it's well lit. It's a big loop that goes one direction cars, so you can walk against traffic and not have to worry about them. They can see you, or at least you can see them. And a lot of my neighbors come out here and do loops around it. It's probably, 2K. I've never really measured it. But that's what I'm kind of doing. I finished up the run camp and just felt like I needed some more miles. This morning, went out, walked with Blanca, and then did the same workout, the 30-minute, 1-minute walk, 2-minute run. A little bit slower, but felt pretty good. Had a pretty good mile split, according to Training Peaks. But even with all that, I know that I need to not race this weekend. I was door-dashing this morning. Door-dashing's been pretty good because they've been giving us like $4 and $5 per order bonuses. So I guess they can't get people to do breakfast runs. But, breakfast is kind of here nor there. I mean, my first one was to a Motel 6. It was super scary, sketchy place. And then the last delivery was near my house, but it was at a hospital, and I had to go through all the COVID rigmarole just to drop off this lady's Denny's or whatever the hell it was, and that was kind of annoying. And speaking of COVID, been watching the Tour de France. 2 weeks ago, they had their first Monday off, and they tested everybody. They only had 4 positives. One turned out to be negative out of the 700 people in their bubble, and they're going around the country from city to city, so it's pretty amazing. Only 4 people, and then yesterday, or 2 days ago on Monday, no one in the bubble tested positive. Ironically, the race director tested positive, and he had to sit out, and he should have been out for 10 or 14 days, but a week later, he was back, so not sure what was up with that. Today's tour, after a rest day on a little bit of mountains yesterday, they had a huge mountain that they'd never gone up before. Damn thing has had 10-15% incline the last 13 miles, and it even kicked to 25. Colombian won. The 2 Yugoslavians battled it out, and Roglic now in the lead and probably going to win the tour with his young countryman, who's only like 20 years old, Pogacar. He was right there in 3rd place for the day. Very impressive riding by all of them. I guess they're going to have actually a mountain finish time trial. That should be cool. That would be definitely fun to watch, and highly recommend. Just been watching the highlights on YouTube. They have a good 15, 20 minutes with Phil Liggett and Bob Roll. I used to watch the whole thing, but just really don't have the time to watch the whole thing. Plus, you got to pay to watch it. So pretty exciting. And I guess they're still going to have the Giro and the Vuelta, the Italian tour and the Spanish tour. And there's a great race for the green jersey, which is kind of like the sprint jersey. Peter Sagan, who's won 7 times, is trying to get his 8th, but there's guy who's been pretty cagey and staying in front of him. It'll be interesting to see if he survives the last 2 mountain stages. And so that's kind of fun to watch. It was interesting. Lance Armstrong's old coach, race director, Johan Bruyneel, said, of course he's not going to get 8. Lance got 7, Richard Virenque got 7 mountain jerseys, and Sagan has 7 green jerseys, and getting 8 is just not going to in the cards. And you got to think about it. It's pretty impressive that these guys won 7, because, I mean, you know, that's 7 years you go out there and are good for 3 straight weeks. How many of us are on our game for 3 weeks every year for years on end? So pretty exciting to watch all that. And been working on the podcast and YouTube. Thank you for the people who have subscribed. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. I'm trying to get my numbers up. Today was kind of a rough day. It's kind of, you know, bummed about missing the race, bummed about just everything in general. It's kind of sad to be bummed because so many people have it much, much worse. Some of my younger friends, which are mostly the people I hang out with because they're the ones who will do this crazy stuff with me. You know, they got kids and they've got homeschooling, and it just seems to be such a nightmare. I think we really need to get the kids back in school. And it's good to see, like in the tour, how their positive rate is just almost 0. So be nice to get back to normal. Who knows when or what normal will be. In some aspects, probably this has been helpful, but in others, it's been pretty much a pain in the ass, and it's tough to deal with day after day after day. Even though I got it pretty good in terms of family's healthy, we got jobs, everything's working, and I can't hold this phone in my left hand whatsoever. Kind of funny. So, as always, stay healthy, be boring, not epic.